All right, so today we're going to be talking about knives. Who's allowed to use a sharp knife today? What did I say?
Nobody.
Nobody is allowed
knife?
to use a sharp knife today. No sharp knives are allowed. We are only going to be using butter knives.
This one it's a little sharp, but not that much.
So butter knives. Let's only use butter knives today since I'm not there to supervise you guys and we don't want to bother your grown-ups. So let's just use butter knives today, okay?
Okay, well, my mom is still right there because she's not doing anything, so.
Okay, if your mom says that that's okay, then that's okay, but everybody else should be using butter knives.
My dad said it was okay.
Okay, so everyone else, butter knives, okay? No sharp knives.
What about me? I can use sharp knives whenever I want to.
Okay, but if you don't have a grown-up present, then Hope, I still want you to use a butter knife. Okay, you don't need a sharp knife for this activity. We're just gonna go over the rules and how to hold the knife.
Right there, so.
Okay, so you guys don't need a sharp knife today. You only need a butter knife. So we're gonna go over the rules, okay? So first thing that we're gonna talk about for knives is you should always have the point down. Okay, so everybody pick up your knife and show me point down.
I'll just use my nail.
Point down. Yes. Should never be carrying a knife point up. Always point down. Okay? That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is when your knife moves, your eyes move. So you should, anytime your knife is moving, your eyes should be following it. Okay? So if I shouldn't be looking over here and wave my knife, okay? So knife moves, eyes move. Okay, next rule is if your food moves, so if I'm cutting something, okay, say I'm cutting this banana. If my food moves, if I'm gonna move my food, my knife is down. I'm not gonna move my knife and my food. Okay, so food moves, knife is down. That's rule number 2. Okay, the third thing that we're going to talk about is how to hold your knife. Okay, so you are going to hold your knife. You're going to hold your knife with it gripped, so fisted like this. So your thumb is going to be on one side and your hand is going to be on the other side, so like this.
Wait, can I just say how I do it?
Can you what?
Can you say how I do it?
Yeah.
So I do it like that, but then I just have my pointer finger on the blade like that.
Okay, so I just was about to say that. So some people, they think that this is going to give you a stronger grip, like when you put your finger on top. That's not the case. So that can often lead to injuries. So we want to grip it with our fist. So if you need more power, instead of putting your finger like this, you're going to choke up on the knife. So you're just going to get a closer grip to the blade.
Is this good?
So if you don't have power from back here, you can choke up on the knife, okay?
Is this good, Miss Alex?
But you shouldn't be putting your pointer finger on top. I used to do that too until I learned. I used to do this way until like a year ago, and then I learned you shouldn't do that. You should just choke up on the knife if you need more control.
Alex?
Yeah?
Does this look good?
Yep, that looks great. Good job, Rio. So if you need more control, choke up.
I just changed my microphone thing.
What'd you say, Cole?
I just changed my microphone, so can anyone still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Ah.
Okay, so rule number 1, what happens when your eyes move? Or when your knife moves?
Eyes move.
Knife moves, eyes move. What happens when your food moves?
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah, first, when your food moves, what happens with your knife?
Leave your knife down.
Knife down, food moves.
Okay, well,
yes.
can I say something?
Yes, Rio.
Like this morning when my dad was cutting strawberries, they were frozen, so they're really slippery. And what I
Ooh.
see him do a lot, how he's cut himself a lot before, is he'll hold it like on the side here. This is hard to explain like on camera, but he'll have it like this. So then when he's
Ooh.
cutting, he'll get it like right next to his fingers and then cut down, and then it like slipped this morning and almost cut his hand.
Yes. Ooh, yes.
And
That
he's
hurts my
using a
stomach
really
hearing about that. But yeah, that happens a lot. So we're going to talk about next how to hold our food.
he was using a blade like
Don't you
this.
do like?
Ooh, yeah.
Don't you use your knuckles and put them down and you do like that?
Yep, we're going to go over that. That's awesome. You guys know a thing or two about holding knives. That's great. Okay, so next we're going to talk about, so now that we have talked about how to hold our knife, how to handle our knife, point down, when our knife moves, our eyes move with it. When our food moves, we put our knife down. Okay, so our next thing that we're going to talk about is different types of different ways to move our knife. So the first movement that we're going to talk about is called rockabye baby. So rockabye baby is when you are rocking your knife. Okay, your tip should always stay on the ground. Your knife doesn't need to move. Okay, so everybody practice that rockabye baby.
Can I just
Okay.
say something, Miss
Yeah,
Alex?
William. Yeah, of course. Oh, William, I can't hear you. What'd you say?
You cut out.
It cuts out for one of us. It cuts out for all of us.
That's
William,
your
I
Fiona.
think maybe you're frozen.
I know.
William.
Oh, am I back now?
You're back. Yeah.
My dad used to be a chef.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that about your dad. That's really cool. Okay.
I love being a chef.
Oh, sorry, Joshua. You cut out as well.
It cuts out for one of us. It cuts out for all of us.
Okay, cool. Joshua, what did you say? Okay, cool.
Guys, I got my first order of food.
Okay, so we're going to go over, so the first one is rockabye baby. Our tip doesn't move and we just rock our hand, okay? Our next thing that we're going to use, or our next method that we do is a vacuum. So a vacuum is like you know how a vacuum, you push it forward and drag it back? So you're going to cut the food on the forward and then drag it back with the tip. So on the forward movement, you cut and then back. So I'm going to show that to you on this slice of banana. So on the forward movement, I cut down, so it cuts, and then I drag it back. And then I'm going to cut down, bring it back like a vacuum, okay? Down, cuts, and forward. So if you'd like to practice that on something soft, you can go ahead and do that. So you drag it back and you cut it on the down. Drag it back, cut it down, and that's called the vacuum. Okay? Everyone, if you don't have something to cut, you can just practice it with your hand. That's the vacuum. Okay, and the third way that we cut is a saw blade. So a saw blade, how do you handle a saw? It's back and forth, right? So that's going to be the same with cutting. So this works great. The saw method works great on soft stuff. So on soft fruit, not frozen strawberries like Rio was talking about, but soft stuff like bananas, not frozen strawberries. It works well with bread, anything soft. So the sawing method is when you literally saw like this. That's the sawing method, okay? Saw back and forth. Works great on cheeses, anything soft. And then the final method that we're going to learn about is tug of war, okay? So tug of war is you just pull it. You pull it back. So pull it back, and that's tug of war. Okay? That's tug of war. Okay, so who can repeat one of the methods of cutting? Yes, Rio.
Where you go forward and then come back.
Yep, and what's that called?
I kind of forget.
Vacuum. The vacuum.
Vacuum.
Yes, so just like you're vacuuming. And then Rio, do you want to grab a cutting board so you're not dragging your knife on? Everybody should be on a cutting board or a plate so you're not scraping up the counter. What's another method of cutting?
Wait, can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
I just cut out a star out of a grape, so.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thanks for sharing, Ava. You're so creative.
That's really hard. It's so
Okay, I just got a giant.
It's so perfect, huh? Awesome. Good job, Rio. Okay, so we talked about the vacuum. Who can name the other three? What other methods of cutting? The others.
I'll share them.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's the saw.
The saw, yep.
There's what was the other one? There was I forget what wait, there was a saw, there was
Tug of war.
yeah,
Tug of war, yep.
there was the
There's one more, the first one.
and then there was the Rockabye Baby.
Yep, Rockabye Baby. Good job. Good job. Rockabye Baby, vacuum, saw, and tug of war. Good job, guys. Okay, so now that you guys know how to hold your knives, the rules of knives when it moves, and the different cutting methods, we're going to practice. So everybody, if you have access to a kitchen and you have access to a butter knife and you have access to some soft things, we're gonna practice our cutting. So you can practice cutting anything with a butter knife using those 4 methods and making sure that you are handling your knife safely. And with that, with our practicing, we are going to make pinwheels and charcuterie boards. So our pinwheels are going to be 4 charcuterie boards. Has anyone ever heard of what a pinwheel is? And does anyone know what it is? Okay. So a pinwheel is this is like what I live on when I go backpacking is pinwheels. So what it is it's a tortilla. Okay. So you take a tortilla. Do you guys have tortillas at your house?
Let me check.
Totally okay if you don't have tortillas. You don't have to do this step. So for a pinwheel, what you're going to do is you're going to take a tortilla, and these are super awesome from the Backcountry because they're so easy. They don't have to be refrigerated, and they are grab and go food. So you take a tortilla, you choose a spread. So whatever you want to spread it with. I sometimes do peanut butter and jelly. You can do cream cheese. You can do anything. Like you can do whatever type of spread. You could do Nutella.
I'm cold.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so for my pinwheel, you can choose whatever you're going to put in it. I'm gonna do cream cheese and beef in mine. So it's like a beef jerky stick that I'm gonna use, but you can use whatever you want. You can do peanut butter and jelly. You can use literally whatever you want. If you don't even want to do a spread, you don't have to. You can put vegetables in it. You can put whatever. So I'm gonna do cream cheese and beef. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your spread, you're gonna spread it on your tortilla and put whatever toppings you want on there. And then you're going to roll it up after it's all on there. You're gonna roll it up, hold it tight, and then you're gonna cut it. And then once it's cut, it's gonna be a pinwheel. Does that make sense? And then after you make your pinwheel.
I've made these before.
Oh, awesome. Cool. So after you do your pinwheel and you cut it, so then they're little cute little spirals, then you're going to place it on a plate and you're going to add whatever else you want to your charcuterie board. So a charcuterie board a lot of the time consists of cheese, nuts, different spreads like cream cheese or jam or salsas. It can be anything. It can be crackers that you put on it. It can be different fruits, different vegetables. But what a charcuterie board is you don't have to cook it. So charcuterie boards are great for the backcountry because right now, like you can't have an open flame in the backcountry. So you really shouldn't even be using stoves. So a lot of people, when they go into the backcountry, they have to bring stuff that you don't have to cook at all. So charcuterie boards are fancy in the backcountry because it's a little smorgasbord and you don't have to cook it. So your assignment for today is to create a pinwheel if you have a tortilla. If not, that's okay. You can skip that. Skip that step. And then once you have your pinwheel, or if you're skipping the step, then you're going to add different little things to the board. So you can put it all. I'm going to put mine on a cutting board. You can just put it on a plate. I'm going to add.
Are we supposed to put a bunch of stuff on a tortilla if we don't have one? What do we put it on?
Right.
If you want, you can put it on some bread and make little tiny sandwiches. And that can be part of your charcuterie board, or you can just skip that step and just cut up some cheeses, cut up some fruit. The point is to practice your cutting skills today with a butter knife. So anything soft that you can cut with a butter knife and make it cute on a board, that's what we're gonna do.
Could I cut an apple? Because we don't have banana.
Yeah, you can cut some cheese, some apples. You can cut whatever you want. If you have some dried mangoes that you want to cut. The whole purpose of this activity is to practice your cutting. So anything soft that you can cut, go for it. And then you want to arrange it on a little cutting board or on a plate. I'm going to put mine on a cutting board. And you can make it look, you can design it different ways and make it all pretty on your board if you want, or you can just make it in little piles, whatever you want to do. Does anyone have any questions? And you guys will have
a quick question.
Okay.
Is there any way to get this like away here? Like if I'm trying to cut this side of an apple, where would I put my fingers when I'm trying to hold the apple down as I'm cutting?
Oh, good question, Rio. Oh, and I forgot the most important, like we forgot how to do different things. I forgot a few other rules. So let me go over those rules and then you guys can ask more questions. So thank you for bringing that up, Rio, because I totally skipped some of the parts. So you want to, what I like to say is, hey, out of the way. So make sure your fingers are out of the way when you're cutting. And so that would look like this. So if you want to make sure that your fingers are out of the way. Okay, so if I have, let me say, I'm going to do an example on this beef stick to show you what it looks like on a long object. Okay, so hey, out of the way means that your fingers are on one side. Ooh, yeah, wait, hold on. Don't go yet, Rio. So hey, out of the way, your fingers are on one side when your knife is on the other. The other rule is, the other saying that we say is up and over soldiers. So your fingers are up and over, okay? So it's out of the way. Okay, so hey, out of the way, up and over soldiers if you need to grab something like this. Okay, and then the final saying that we say is top chop. So some things you're going to not be able to, maybe you need more effort, so then you put your hand on top and top chop, okay? So hey, out of the way, up and over soldiers, and top chop, okay? So with an apple, Rio, how you would cut it is make sure you're curling your fingers, okay, so that you are out of the way. And then you're going to use the sawing motion. So you're going to saw it.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
what I've been
Don't
doing.
go straight down, okay? And then you're going to, hold on, Rio. Hold on. Your fingers are kind of in the way. So then you're going to turn it. So I turned it a little bit, and then you're going to cut around the core. So make sure my fingers are out of the way, and then you're going to use the sawing motion. So with an apple, you don't need a sharp knife. You can just, I'm just using a butter knife.
Look at me, apple pieces.
Yeah, awesome.
The cutting board is soaked, but I made apple things.
Nice. Yeah, so you want to saw it like that and make sure that you're curling your fingers. If I'm cutting like this, that is possible that I could, if I'm holding my apple like this or anything like this, my fingers are like asking to be cut, right? So you want to hold as little as possible of the fruit or whatever you're cutting and curl your fingers.
Okay.
Okay? Do not let your fingers get lazy and be out. Always curl your fingers no matter what you're cutting. Okay? And use the sawing method. And then keep turning it and saw. Does that answer your question? And then, or you can also lay it down if that's a better grip. So say I still have a lot on my apple, then I could lay it down at this point because this is going to be more tricky to hold. Lay it down, and then you can saw like that. Okay?
Can I cut an avocado?
Yeah. Yeah, do it. Cut whatever you want to make it on your board.
I've never cut an avocado before because I don't know what to do if it has a big seed in it or whatever.
Okay, just use the knife and like cut around it.
Yeah, so you're gonna, I don't have an avocado to demonstrate, but you're going to saw into the avocado.
Miss Alex,
Straight down the middle. Yeah, William?
you need a sharper knife to cut this cheese.
What type of cheese are you cutting?
This type.
I bet you can do it with the butter. Is it cheddar? Looks like it's cheddar.
Yeah,
So what?
Yes, it is cheddar, and my dad said I could use a sharper knife. So.
You did? Okay.
Because
Then go off of what your dad said. So you'll want to lay it down, William. Lay it flat on your cutting board, and you'll want to use, if you have a sharper knife, you can cut straight down. Make sure, hey, out of the way. Your fingers are out of the way. You can press down.
I cut it, and it looks.
Or you can use the sawing method. Always make sure it's hey, out of the way. No loosey fingers. No loosey-goosey fingers. Always curl your fingers no matter what you're cutting. So sawing method or top chop. Okay, you guys have 15 minutes to practice your cutting of soft things. Remember, if you're using a sharp knife, you need to have parents' permission and to have them near you so that you don't cut yourself. Otherwise, you should be using a butter knife, okay? Butter knives. Okay, and you guys can black out your screens if you want, or you can take the computer into the kitchen so that everyone can see what you're doing. And then in 15 minutes, we'll talk about our different boards of what we created.
Well, what else should I cut? I'm just cutting random things.
Do you have some bread, Rio? You could make some sort of toast. But not toast it, because I know that it heats it up, but you can just like spread something on some toast or some bread and then cut it into squares.
Okay.
And then put it on your board all fancy.
Bread, Mom. Where's the bread?
Miss Alex?
Yeah?
What do we do for the
And some of them aren't the neatest thing in the world. That's what I did.
Cool. Those look so great, Fiona. And delicious.
Thanks.
Awesome. Good job. Ella?
One second, I'm gonna quickly finish up.
Okay. Lucy, did you want to share?
Yeah, well, so I made the tortilla thing, and I did like the tortilla with peanut butter and jelly, but
Mhm.
then I ate it, so I can't show it to you guys. But this is, my dog is whining for the treat, but it's not ready yet because this is what it looks like.
Oh, what's in it? It looks delicious.
It's peanut butter and his dog kibble.
Oh, he's gonna love that. Cool. Ella, did you want to share? Were you finished?
Yes. I'm just gonna finish placing everything.
I want to share my finished sword.
Nice sword.
It's pretty sharp. It'd probably work as a knife.
Yeah.
But I have actual metal knives that I can use, that I made myself.
Cool.
Okay, I mean, I cut up something earlier, but I already ate all of it, so I kind of can't show you. But here's what I just made. Okay, so I ate apple slices and I cut up, but here are
Nice.
what I just made. It's really pretty. Candytopia.
Candytopia. Did you cut up some chocolate?
I cut
Is that what that is?
Yeah, I cut up a little bit of chocolate, and I cut up some Starburst, but I already ate them.
Nice. Yeah, see? You can literally cut up anything for your charcuterie board. Chocolate, Starburst. Awesome. Hey, is there anyone, what'd you say?
You can go.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys are done, you are free to go. Thanks for participating today. Bye guys. Enjoy your snacks.